What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a mapping video. Now, I'm pretty excited about this. I learned how to do it not too long ago. And yeah, I'm excited to get into this. Let's do it. So today we'll be looking at what if Iran formed an empire in 2024. Now, this will be interesting, because Iran has some specific targets that could be quite good. So, without further ado, let's get into this. For our first idea, of course, Iran is starting to raise its military, even more than it already has, and is now eyeing up its neighbor, but mainly its other neighbor of Azerbaijan. Now, first of all, they're gonna start invading over here. They're gonna send troops over here and get like a front started, and also then send troops over here. And this part will be relatively easy to capture since Azerbaijan doesn't have a lot of troops over here. So it'll fall almost immediately, and a new front is starting to form in western Azerbaijan. They're going up, and they're starting a new front from up here in Iran to Azerbaijan. They're gonna go and try to take over the coastal areas since it's pretty key. They're gonna make it. Then they're gonna make it landing right here. And wait, where's Azerbaijan's capital? Oh, Azerbaijan's capital is literally right there. Alright, so they're going to keep going. They're going to capture the capital. And now Azerbaijan is not looking pretty good. They lost a lot of valuable land. In fact, they're going to evacuate this area to focus on their other parts of defense. So Iran immediately gets all this. And they're starting to push up more from here. But we are having some setbacks as Azerbaijan starts pushing them back to their borders, as finally Azerbaijan has gotten their military together and is starting to push them back. And they almost retake the capital, but they are forced back by Iran. Now their counteroffensive has failed, and Iran is free to push up even more as they're trying to regroup. Finally secure this area, and now there's zero chance of Azerbaijan being able to capture their capital ever again. And now it is not looking good for Azerbaijan. Their important cities are all over here, and that's pretty much all been taken. Over here, this isn't very important to them, so it's just gonna get taken over, as they find it unnecessary. But now we have Iran making another push-up, and they're trying to cut this area off. They almost succeed at it, but are forced back. They make another attempt, and this time it is successful. And they trap a large number of Azerbaijani troops and slowly dwindle and capture them all. Or kill them. I don't know. And then, now, one of their important series that I don't know the name of has just been captured right there. And Azerbaijan is now realizing they cannot win this war, so let's go ahead and get a peace treaty going. Right. Now, Iran has fully annexed Azerbaijan, and now it looks really weird. But next up on their list is they're going to try and finish off the Caucasus. So they're declaring war on Azerbaijan and Georgia. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder for Iran, because they're taking on two. While Georgia is probably going to be the hardest here, Armenia is not going to be hard at all. And almost immediately their panhandle is going to get taken, or whatever this is. I don't know what you would call it. But they're just going to push up. They're going to have an easy time pushing up Armenia. But finally, some Georgian troops finally arrive, and they're stalemated. Uh-oh. I'll have to fix that in a second. Well, finally, they're just gonna keep going up, and it is not looking good. Finally, Georgia starts to fight back and pushes back Iran quite a bit. And even goes into their borders a little bit. Probably the first time. Now, Armenia is even seeing some progress as they are retaking quite a bit of their land. And Georgia and Armenia are starting a new campaign over here. Iran says, nope, we're not having this, and just pushes them out of their territory. And then encircles these troops, and it is not looking good for them, as they are wiped out. And then we have Iran making some more pushes over here, trying to push Georgia back all the way. And they cut up here, circle these troops, make good gains. Finally, Armenia is starting to crumble. Their capital has been captured, I'm pretty sure. And they're really not doing good. And then we have a large encirclement of a large number of Armenian troops, and they are dead. Now, Armenia is barely holding on anymore. They're really struggling. And that's about all the land they're left with. And finally we have Iran trying to make a big encirclement here, but it will fail as Georgia pushes them back in a counteroffensive. But the Iranians are like, nope, we're not doing this, and are just pushing them back. And finally, boom, Armenia, the last troops of Armenia and some Georgian troops are captured over here, are stuck, and they are eventually just killed off. Now Georgia is in a very tough situation now. They were before, but they really are now, as Iran is just not slowing down and just keeps pushing them more and more, and making an even bigger encirclement here, capturing a small number of troops as Georgia has ordered to retreat back into this part. This is really where now Iran is starting to get into the meat and bones of Georgia, places that actually matter to Georgia. Georgia's capital has already been captured right here, so yeah, things are not looking good for Georgia as they're getting pushed back more and more, and more major cities begin to be captured. Georgia finally realizes it has no chance of winning this war. So let's get a peace treaty going. Alright, so we have full annexation of Armenia and Georgia here, and now Iran is shifting its focuses from over there down south towards Iraq, because they're gonna send them an ultimatum, and they're not gonna accept. In real life, Iran and Iraq are buddies. And in this scenario, they are cold-hearted enemies, and they declare war on Iraq. And Kuwait actually joins in on their side as well. So they're not alone, but Kuwait isn't that much of an ally because they're really not good. They don't have a lot of military. Alright, so Iran starts us off by invading the north of Iraq, making some good gains over there. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of oil over here. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you feel like it. I don't really get a lot of comments, but that's okay. Anyway, they're going to start a big front over there, and in the middle, there'll be a big front in the middle right here, trying to go towards the capital of Iraq. And then here down the south, they'll be trying to cut off Iraq's only port cities, and then trying to get to Kuwait. So they start pushing down. Iran's doing pretty well. Iraq is trying to regroup, as this was unexpected pretty much. Besides the ultimatum, they didn't really have enough time to prepare. And Iran has enough time to join their forces, I guess. And Iraq is starting to get together. So Iran keeps pushing keeps, and then they encircle this area, although there's very few troops over here, so it doesn't really matter. And then finally, Iran tries to make a push into Kuwait, tries pushing down the Iraqi coast. A thin Iraq fights back, and Kuwait starts to fight back as well. And Iran is pushed back into its own territory, with even a little bit of Kuwaiti forces starting to push into their territory as well. Speaking of, in the north, they're starting to get pushed back as well, as Iraq has finally gotten its troops together and is starting to push back a lot. In fact, they get to the border, but it doesn't last long, as Iran is able to resecure it, and then they do a counterattack and capture a big number of troops over here. I didn't mean to do that, but we'll just go with it. The same here. Kuwait continues to invade over here, though there are a small number of troops. Doesn't really make too much of a difference, and let's not do that. And even though Iran starts with their small number of troops over here, are starting to push back Kuwait back over as well, even push them through the borders, and they're back pretty much to where they started. And Iran keeps going, this time making big movements. This time making big movements, trying to make as much gains as they can. And then another encirclement has happened, and they are getting finished off and killed. The Iraqi capital of Baghdad is right here, and it is really in trouble of being captured right now. So, in fact, they almost capture it, but then Iraq makes a desperate last-minute charge and gets them back. And Iran gets all of the Kuwaiti forces out their territory and are now pushing towards the border and are starting to invade from the top. And another attempt is made to take the Iraqi capital, but it again fails. But in the north they are seeing a lot more success, and the Iraqi troops there are falling behind, and they're going to make a huge spike, but it's not going to work as they are being pushed back. Making that big of a spearhead to cover this much land is really a dumb idea in real life. So yeah, I don't expect that to ever work. But they make another attempt, and this time it does work, as I've given Iran boosters in this. I will say, hang on, I forgot to mention it at the beginning of this video. They captured all this, but Iran is probably not as this powerful. They probably could take all these countries on, but in a short amount of time, probably not, and definitely not without other countries getting involved in this scenario. I've boosted Iran and made alliances or anything like that not matter. Not exist anyway. And another spearhead is made by Iran, and this time it is a success, and a mind-numbing amount of troops are captured here. Mind-boggling. And they push down. Now, Iraq is looking really bad, as their entire coast has been captured, and finally, another encirclement made makes their capital under siege. Eventually, it is captured, and now we see Iran just pushing through. But Iraq has pretty much lost all of its valuable land, and now Kuwait is completely surrounded by themselves. They're getting invaded from the top, and their capital is in danger as well. But they're going to keep fighting because they're cool like that. But Iran is just going to keep kicking their ass, bringing them back and back. Small numbers of troops were captured over here, but they are killed. And Kuwait is finally being pushed into, and their capital has been captured. And now they're easily being pushed down. And now they have barely anything left. Now Iraq is even being pushed into even more as well. Now they realize they cannot win this war. They have zero chance of it, and they are running out of supplies. Anything you need to fight a war, and they are going to go ahead and surrender. So let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty here. Alright, looking at a peace treaty here. Kuwait has been fully annexed, and almost all of Iraq's valuable land has been lost. So, yep. And now Iran has another enemy to go for. Iran, of course, wants to take on Turkey, but they're going to be fighting multiple fronts as Turkmenistan wants to join in as well. Yeah, they weren't expecting this, and initially they're prepared for Turkey, so they're not going to get too badly beaten. They are going to get quite a bit of fronts taken up on them. Yeah, Turkmenistan is going to have quite an easy time over here, as pretty much zero troops are aligned over here yet, because Iran wasn't expecting this. But yeah, so they're just going to get kicked around. But eventually, Iran starts fighting back, kicks Turkey out of their territory, and even pushes in, and things are not looking good for Turkey already, as they're getting pushed back with ease. As not many troops were over here, and I've boosted Iran, so yeah, they're just gonna get wiped out. Turkey's gonna just completely die. Nah, I'm just playing. Or for the meantime, gonna get their asses kicked. This is all mountainous areas, by the way, so it is really a pain to move through here. So if I'm moving slowly, it's probably not because of the Turkish forces. It's probably just because this area is not fun. Also, I forgot to color this part. There we go. And over here, Iran again starts fighting back, and Turkmenistan is nowhere near as powerful as Turkey, so they are really not going to have a fun time dealing with Iran. In fact, most of their troops are going to get trapped over here. Some are going to make it to the Turkmenistani Iran, but Turkmenistan is not looking too good, and a new front has started inside of them. Two fronts, actually. And Turkey again is getting their butt kicked, as again they're just not having a fun time dealing with Iran, because Iran is the most powerful country in this scenario. Yeah. And finally, important areas of the Turkish coast are captured, and we are clear of mountains pretty much now. And now this is the important areas of Turkey. They are now in danger from Iranian forces that seem to have no sign of slowing down. And we are just going to keep pushing forward. And Turkmenistan is pretty much cut off from this area, and Iran is really showing no mercy here, as they were like, you shouldn't have done that, as they are just pushing through, no mercy. Pretty much all of Turkmenistan gets captured. Turkmenistan is going to go ahead and surrender. As well for Turkey, they are also going to surrender as they see all the troops are going over to this area and they know they're already getting their ass kicked. Alright, looking at a peace treaty here. Turkey got demolished and Turkmenistan has gotten fully annexed. Not very good, not very good. At this point, everybody's pretty aware that Iran is expanding, and two people that are going to act on it are Afghanistan and Pakistan. And Iran already had plans to invade them and was secretly piling troops on the Pakistani border and the Afghani border. So initially Iran's not even going to waste time and they're going to instantly go over the borders, create fronts all over them. As Afghanistan and finally Pakistan is going to get lots of fronts being made in it, as Pakistan is way more powerful and is a bigger priority to Iran right now. Already important port areas have been taken. And Iran is going to have a easy time in Afghanistan, as they are not powerful at all. In fact, it's probably a big mistake for Afghanistan to declare war on them. They're just going to get absolutely demolished as big chunks of them are captured. And finally the top portions are over. As they invade this part, they invade Pakistan from the north as well. As they're coming down. And they're just going to absolutely demolish Pakistan, of course, or Afghanistan. As they're just ripping through them. Finally, they make it to the borders of Pakistan, and finally, the Pakistani troops have realized that their ally is pretty useless, but they're marching in with their troops anyway, and are pushing back the Iranians. Iranians, I don't know. But Iran immediately counterattacks and deals a lot of damage to them, and it pretty much pushes them pretty much all out of Afghanistan, except for this little bit. And they're pushing in from the north now in greater numbers. Or at least it falls. They're pushed fully out of Afghanistan. And they are getting just demolished by Iran at this point, who is extremely powerful. I would say they're probably like top 5 most powerful by this point if they can take off Pakistan. As they're just mowing through them. Finally, I'm pretty sure most of the river has been captured too. And now we are seeing full fall of the north. And they evacuate the south. So Iran just has all this to go around in. And finally, after a huge encirclement in the south, and all of them pretty much being wiped out, and even more troops piling in and encircling them even more, Pakistan finally realized there's absolutely zero chance like they can salvage this, and they're going to go ahead and sue for peace. Alright, so here's the peace treaty here. Wait, what's this? Oh. And they have taken over half of Afghanistan. Pretty much all of the important bits to Afghanistan. They weren't really important anyway, but you know. And they have taken over all the coast of Pakistan. So that's pretty much a huge portion of their economy gone. And India might want to get in on that now. So they're gonna go for one final war, and that's gonna be against Syria. Now this one shouldn't be too hard, as Iran just moves in and establishes a huge front. It just, you know, they just gotta push down, and Syria really isn't prepared for this. In fact, it's pretty much just a surprise attack, and they're being wiped out. And finally, once they capture all the coast and the capital, I'm pretty sure Syria is going to go ahead and surrender. Alright, looking at a peace treaty here. Yeah, Syria got their northern bit taken away. And at this point, Iran is pretty happy. They've expanded a lot. Just for a recap real quick, they took over Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia. They took over half of Iraq, annexed Kuwait, and then went to war with Turkey and Turkmenistan, annexed Turkmenistan, half of Turkey, and then they went to war with Afghanistan and Pakistan, and annexed half Afghanistan and took over all Pakistan's coastal regions, and they went to war with Syria and took over all their northern regions. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye bye.